Join us tomorrow on Backstage. We'll have the complete lowdown on the Fringe. It is their 25th anniversary. But right now, I have a very special guest here, Rod Palson, coming in all the way from the cottage, suffering a little bit of a summer cold.
Oh, yeah.
But we have a wonderful show coming up this weekend on Shaw TV, a musical special, a tribute to the musical Mates, and I guess a real great history of Riverton, correct?
It is. You know, every small town in Manitoba probably has its little niche, and for Riverton, it's music. It absolutely is. People who live there know about it. People who live elsewhere don't. And that's been largely inspired by an old-time orchestra by the name of Johnny and his musical Mates, who began playing back in the early 1930s. Was the early beginnings when the father of the family, which became a musical family, started training his two oldest boys on how to play the violin, and then ultimately the next two in line, two sisters, joined in, and then ultimately another sister and a brother. So 6 siblings made up this orchestra that played wonderful old-time waltzes, polkas, chattizes, you name it. They just became pretty darn famous in the Interlake.
And you happen to be a very famous MC for a lot of those shows too, so there's your tie.
Well, not so much for those dances, but as I said, the musical Mates inspired so much music. And back in the 70s, when the hootenanny movement was sweeping through the United States, some local Riverton musicians picked up on that, and they started putting on hootenannies. And over the course of years, I ultimately became involved with hootenannies and started emceeing those shows, and I kind of get the call now when it's time to put on another show, as was the case last July when we did the tribute.
Oh, now specifically, Rod, why share this story with other Manitobans?
Because you know what, I think it's not just a story about Riverton. I think there's communities throughout Manitoba that probably have that element of music that is part of their history. The difference here is it has been preserved. And it truly is a very magical and special thing about Riverton and the music. And what's really great is these 3rd, 4th generation kids have picked up the violin, and they play it in the same style that their uncles and grandfathers played it in. And it truly is remarkable. It's just a great thing.
Well, thank you so much for sharing your story. Tune in Saturday and Sunday this weekend, July 14th and the 15th. The times are at the bottom of your screen. And the wonderful show is called That's All, a tribute to the musical Mates. Thank you so much, Rod.
Thank you.
Go back to the cottage.
All right.
Have a happy weekend.
You too.
Stay tuned. There's still more to come. We have an interview with Wintersleep.